Hey Crafty Dolls, welcome or welcome back, and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you're new here, my name is Amber Michawn, and I love all things budget-friendly crafting with a high-end look. But if you're not new, hey doll, hey! Today I am sharing some Christmas DIYs with an elf inspiration look, so let's jump right into it. My first DIY, I have this sign stand that I got from the Dollar Tree. I've actually had this for a few years, so I'm not even sure if they sell this anymore at the Dollar Tree. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Snow White Waverly chalk paint. I still get Waverly chalk paint from Walmart. My local Walmarts, all three of mine still have them. And then I'm going to give this about 3 coats of paint and let it dry completely in between each coat. That way the words cover up completely. Because I'm not using a darker paint color, I had to go and use 3 coats of this color, and this is what it looks like. I did go to my Cricut Explorer 3 and cut out the phrase elf cam. I thought this would be really cute. I actually saw this similar idea. It's a little bit more miniature in size on Pinterest that said elf cam. It was super cute and it was all wood, but I just knew that I could recreate this into something that more my style and just, more me. So I did that in removable black vinyl, put that across on there, and then I used a black paint marker. I've actually had this paint marker for years, y'all. Probably when I first started crafting. I don't know. I don't know why it's lasting so long, but it has. And all I'm going to do is draw a circle, and I'm going to fill it in with my paint marker. You can totally use regular black paint if you want for this, and use a fine I was about to say toothbrush, but a fine paintbrush. And do this, you can use the back side of a paintbrush and use the handle to do it. You can use your finger to do it. But I had this on hand and it was easy. It turned out just fine. I had to, spot color a little bit because sometimes, black any paint marker, it doesn't always go on smooth on one, coat. So anyways, after that, I kind of embellish it just a tiny bit with some white paint, and I use a really small paintbrush corner and just kind of make the little, shadowy lines on my camera face. And then I use some gray acrylic paint and a small paintbrush, and then I make a small circle in the middle to look like a lens. Again, this is what I'm saying, how you can make your circle by using a paintbrush or use the back of your paintbrush. So I gave you 3 different ways that you can make a circle using the items that you have in your stash or in your collection of tools. There's ways to do it. And again, you can use your finger if you want to go that way. But yeah, I just made sure it looked the way that I wanted to. Then from the Hobby Lobby, I actually found this little elf set. I didn't know that I needed this until I saw it, and it was perfect because I was just going to leave it as is. You can totally leave it as is if you don't want the extra color and stuff on it, but I thought gluing the hat on the top and the pants or the legs on the bottom just brought it so much character. It's so freaking cute. And I mean, how simple is this DIY from where it came from to what it is now? I mean, it looks so cute on a tier tray or even just in a collection of items that you have on a side table or, a sofa table or something, whatever. I think it's really cute. Let me know what you think. Alright dolls, before we move on, I did want to tell you that this is part of a collaboration open playlist. I was so kind to be invited onto this playlist by Lolly D's Creations and Lady Red Crafting. They asked me to guest host, and I'm super excited because all the people that are going to be on this playlist are doing some inspiration from Elf, whether that's the color or the movie, whatever you want to do. I just love that we are into the Christmas crafting season. So make sure you head down to the playlist. I will have it in my description box as well as pinned to my comment so you can look at all the inspiration. Make sure you tell everybody I said hi after you watch my video. All right, let's get back to the DIYs. All right, so for this sign, I actually lost the footage or maybe wasn't recording when I painted this, but I got this sign from Hobby Lobby. Dollar Tree. It's in their Dollar Tree Plus section, so it was $5, and I painted the face of the sign using my Waverly chalk paint color in Fern, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's the color. But I did that. I gave it 2 coats and let that dry in between. Now, the next thing I'm doing, I'm using a ruler. This looks weird, I know. And I'm using my crimson colored chalk paint by Waverly. But I wanted to try something a little bit different than using painter's tape to kind of section off a corner where I wanted to like paint the border. I love painting the border of, different signs and stuff. I just love having a border on my signs, period. I feel like when they don't, they look a little bit unfinished. And I didn't want to leave this the natural wood color. I could have stained it, but I still would have run into that problem where I didn't want it to bleed over into the other color. So I wanted to try a different technique that was a little less time consuming than like painter's tape. I feel like with my painter's tape, I always never know, like, okay, if I pull it off when it's still wet, it won't pull up any paint. But then will it bleed? And then, if I leave it on too long, it pulls up the paint. So I just wanted to try something different. And I had this ruler, and I was like, you know what, let me try this. So I just push it down in the crease of the sign, and it worked out perfectly, you guys. I'm not even joking. The only little bleed that I had was because I pulled away my ruler before I was done actually painting. And then I just kind of painted a little bit too far over, and it was right here when I scooted over the ruler. But anyways, other than that, it came out perfect, and I'm going to do this from now on. Now you see me wiping down the ruler every time that I paint because I wanted to make sure that I didn't get any paint on my green surface. But this is what it looks like. When I tell you it was like perfect and easy, bruh, I'm doing this from now on. That's it. That's all. And then after that was done, I just painted the rest of it. I didn't do the side of the frame. You totally could, but I just left it that natural wood color. And then just painted that, and I gave that 2 good coats. Okay, so I know it's been a long time since I've put out a video, you guys. I know I haven't been missing in action. If you follow me on Instagram, I post a little on there. My other Instagram page, I have 2 Instagram pages, DIY with Amber, and the other one is Amber Michawn. You'll be able to catch up with me and see me in real time and keep, updated with me on the go a little bit more regularly. It's just a lot trying to get these videos done. Finding time to craft with 3 kids and all their activities. And then I'm traveling a lot for work too. So I know I've missed you guys so much, but I'm really hoping to try to get into a better schedule. I have a few other collaborations coming, and collaborations really keep me on target. So maybe I should just continue to do those for the foreseeable future. But yeah, I know I missed you guys, and yes, I'm still here and I'm still working on creating some stuff. But my boys do want a family YouTube channel, so we've been working on that as well. But back to this DIY, I did go to my Cricut Explore 3 again and cut out a couple of elf type phrases. So these DIYs are all they're not inspired by the elf movie. They're just inspired by elves, period. Like what they like, how they dress. So their colors and everything. So everything is going to have that red, green, yellow, white kind of color scheme. And then this phrase right here has candy canes, candy corn, and syrup, all the things that elves love to eat, that we think elves love to eat. And then I had another part of this where it said will work for, but I didn't know where to put this when I transferred it over to my sign. I thought it was really, really cute. And if I remember, I will put the fonts in there. If they're not in my description box, somebody put down in the comment below for me to say, hey, Amber, can you put the, fonts in there? And then I'll go back and put it in there. But like I'm saying, I had this will work for, and I just didn't know where to put it. It didn't look right anywhere I was trying to do it. And maybe it was the font that I had. It wasn't working for me. And I was trying to make it work and it didn't. So I had to set it aside for a little bit. I worked on another DIY, and then I came back to this. And when I came back to it, I realized that I had these paper crafts. They're Christmas lights. And I'm realizing a lot now in my crafting that I am loving to incorporate these paper crafts just a little bit more. I love, working with wood signs. I love signs, making signs, period. but realizing that I don't always have to, you know, put like wood letters on there, or have to cut out wood with my wood burning machine or my wood cutting machine and stuff like that. Using paper crafts could really, you know, step it up just a little bit of another level, especially because they're 3D a lot of times too, and they stick on so well. I don't have to use hot glue. E6000, what is it? E6000? I don't even use that no more. I don't know what the name is. But anyways, I found these lights and I really wanted to go all the way across, but it didn't work out for me. I was trying to connect the lights and that looked fine, but it wasn't working out the way that I wanted it to. So I had to pause, take a step back and look at it, and then regroup. And then I realized that I had one set that would fit perfectly in this corner. So that's what I did. I put that perfect there, right in that corner. Of course, me and my brain still tried to, you know, get another set that would, you know, go underneath it, but it didn't work out. I had to stop, you know, stop while you're ahead, right? And then so after that, I decided to take my finger sander and sand down my edges. I still love the farmhouse, like modern kind of take to it. That shabby chic farmhouse modern. I don't know. I feel like I'm melding my own like little style with, you know, my decor in my house, especially. I love farmhouse, but I love modern with it. And then I love shabby chic. I know it's a lot going on. Anyway, sand it down, wipe it down. And this is what it turned out to look like. And I think it's adorable. It's super cute. And it still gives me that weathered look that I love. Let me know what you think. For my next DIY, I'm taking this nutcracker that I got from Hobby Lobby last year, and then I'm taking my fern and crimson colored chalk paints, as well as white and this black magic, I think, stain color. Anyways, I stained the bottom of this nutcracker, so like the stand of it. And I'm just going to say this right here and out to this onset. This nutcracker took me a long time to paint. I am very like a perfectionist when it comes to like painting and coloring. Like I was that kid that always colored inside the lines. When I colored inside the lines, I outlined my lines so like you could see the clear definition of it. Like I'm that kid. So painting this kind of gave me a bit of anxiety because I couldn't get in all the little creases and crevices like I wanted. I had to repaint a lot of things, but it still turned out really cute. Okay, so I used the green for the outfit and the body. Basically, I'm dressing this nutcracker up to look like an elf. So he has the green suit, the red pants or leggings, whatever you want to call it. And then the little staff that he has is going to be green and red. And then his crown is going to be green and red, I think, with some the white balls on top or whatever. But it took a long time. I used the smallest paint brushes that I had. I could have gone a little bit smaller, but I did in the end. Had to kind of let go of some pieces being touched because I could just repaint it. I could wipe it off and then just paint over it. So yeah, if you decide to do this, yeah, it'll take a long time. Just turn on, a show and watch it or sit down. I sit up the entire time, and so my back was hurting afterwards, but it's all good. But yeah, I think this one turned out cute. And I know that a few of you said that you enjoy watching me paint, so I'm literally like leaving this in. Maybe not the entirety of me painting. It'll skip around a bit. But, y'all say y'all like me painting, so I'm going to leave it in and see what it do. If y'all really like it, if, y'all are really viewing it. If you fast forward it, that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, in the end, this did turn out nice. And for the face of this, I at first painted it white. It just didn't look right to me. So then I went and used my same stain color, that black magic color. I think it's called black magic or magic something ground or something. I don't know, but I painted it. I did the stain that same color and it turned out real cute. Isaiah really liked it. So yeah, when I finally finish it, let me know what you think about this nutcracker. For my next DIY, I am taking this sign from the Dollar Tree and I am going to cover it up with some of my craft paper. Now, I've had this sign for a long time. Clearly, it's from the summer. I actually have only stepped foot inside of a Dollar Tree maybe 3 times this entire year. And I mean 3 times in 2025. Yes, I said that correctly. Yes, you heard that correctly. I just have accumulated so much stuff that I do not have a need to go and just stock up on more of the same stuff that I have from the Dollar Tree. Now, maybe Hobby Lobby or Michael's I'll go to if there's certain specific things. Like the only things that I bought in that I'm making in this video are the paper crafts items. Those are the only things that I bought in this video recently. That is it for these projects. So yeah, don't go out and spend all your money on it, y'all. Things are too expensive these days anyway, so don't do it. But anyways, after I ripped off the ribbons and the staples in here, I did sand those down. You're still going to see a little bit of an indent on them, but you can totally hide them and you will see me hiding them. I like my projects looking complete, so I always cover the back or the front, which can be the back, with some brown craft paper. I try to get the brown craft paper that kind of matches. And overall just makes it look like a complete look. And once I hot glue that down to the now back side of the sign, I cut down the rest of the excess brown craft paper. And then I do take my finger sander and I sand it down just so it has more of a nice complete finished look to it. So it just looks like it all belongs and it's supposed to be there. I just really like finished crafts. You never know if you're going to sell it or give it away, and you want somebody to have a finished kind of looking sign. So that's just my preference. Then I took those same 2 red and green or crimson and fern chalk paint colors, and I am going to paint 2 of these fake arrows using that crimson color, and then I am going to use the green for one of them. And then I do 2 coats each for those colors. After those are done, it's a beautiful color. I love how they look. And then I'm going to take the phrases that I did cut out on my Cricut Explorer 3. I used white removable vinyl this time. And I cut out a few cute, a few really cute phrases if I say so myself. I already decided that I was going to alternate the color, so red, green, red, which is why I had 2 reds. And so that kind of coincided with the phrases that I were going to put on there. So the first one is perfect wrapping class, which will go on a red sign. The second one is elf shelf training, which I think is so stinking cute. And that's going to go on the green one because when you think of an elf, you just think of a green outfit. That's what I think of anyways. And I'm just this is how my brain works. And then the last one is Santa's workshop, which is going to be red because it's Santa, and you think of a Santa, you think of a red suit, right? And I just thought that they're really cute. I mean, I love these directional signs that you can create really pretty much for any season. And there's always 1 or 2 that always have to make the list. And I feel like Santa's workshop always have to make the list, just like when you make a cocoa bar set. You always put hot chocolate or hot coffee or cookies or something like that. But yeah, anyways, once those were all on their correct signs, then I decided to take everything that I bought from Hobby Lobby's paper crafting section, and I decided where I was going to put things. So I got stuff that were these 3D presents that I thought were so stinking cute, and I just kind of picked ones that I thought went perfectly with it. And what I did is I strategically placed them where the indents of those staples were so that they would cover them up just a tinge bit, so you couldn't really tell that it was there. And I did 4 stickers or 4 embellishments on each sign. A couple of the other ones I have the Santa faces or Santa heads or whatever. Those Santa's workshop went on there, along with a present and then this coffee mug with gingerbread cookies in it. It's so cute. I tried to put this ho 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 phrase on there, but it just didn't look right with all the words. It just didn't. It didn't go well, especially it was red on red. It just didn't match. But yeah, I thought it was so cute. But yeah, I'm just kind of rearranging everything and trying to figure out what works best. And it's so cute. What do you guys think about using paper crafts, especially these 3D kind of looking ones for, you know, these type of DIYs? Do you think it turns out well? Do you find it, you know, kind of hard to come up with, or do you just, you know, want paper crafts to stick with paper crafting? What are your thoughts about that? I'm interested because I don't see a lot of people doing it. A lot of times, you know, we buy these like miniature, you know, items to like stick on there, but sometimes they're little 4D, so it's like kind of hard to like get them to stay in place or whatnot, unless you're doing like a, you know, a little stand like those pumpkin stands or something like that. But anyways, I'm talking about like for signs like this, for them to like lay flat. Thought it was really cute. But anyways, so I just utilized everything that I had, even went back to those Christmas lights and used those for the elf shelf training sign. Then I took 2 painter's sticks. Isaiah actually painted these white. He did that off camera because I forgot to press record, but he really wanted to show y'all that he painted them. So I'm just letting you know, Isaiah painted both of these. And what I'm going to do is hot glue them on top of each other because I needed a longer stick for this, but I didn't have one on hand. And the only stick that I had was like a 4x. It was just too big. I had a poplar wood like board, but it just was still too thick for these little signs. So yeah, anyways, I have 2 that are going the same direction, but that was on purpose, so I'm totally fine with that. But the middle one, the elf shelf training, is always going to go in the middle because it's only the only green one. And so then I'm just rearranging how I want my signs and my arrows to fit on there. And then once I have the way that I want it to look, then I just use a bead of hot glue for each one, and then I press that down pretty firmly so that it sticks on there. And then you can dress this up however you like, however you want. I went really simple with mine and put it in a little planter thing, like a silver galvanized planter that I already had in my craft shed. You can do a whole lot more. I didn't do too much with this staging effort, but super cute, really, really, really pretty. You can make a larger one. I actually plan on making something just a little bit more life size, maybe the height of like Phoebe or something. But I love this DIY. Let me know what you think about this. All right, dolls, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Consider subscribing and make sure you hit that bell so you're notified every time that I upload. Go ahead and hit that playlist so you can look at all the other elf inspiration videos. All right, dolls, be blessed, stay safe, and I will definitely see you on the next one. I promise. Bye.